Hello and welcome to the GrapeSEED Official Podcast. Another new series starting here. Reflecting over all 180 plus episodes so far and what content I could bring you more of, I took a look at the most listened to episodes of all time. Naturally, our pre-launch episode as well as our very first episode on Unit 1 were really high up the list, as, well, they were the first episodes. But third place was number 41 on classroom management. This makes sense. Classroom management is a tricky subject that a lot of teachers struggle with. There are always new tools to add to your tool belt and new ways to think about your classroom environment. Well, to help with that, I'll kick off this new series. Sometimes it will be practical tips and sometimes more abstract thinking, but either way, more classroom management on the pod from time to time. The topic of this first episode is about how the type of teacher you want to be isn't judged on just a single spectrum. I think when newer GrapeSEED teachers begin teaching, they first try to think about what kind of teacher they want to be. Typically, they imagine their options as mean, strict, and controlling on one extreme and nice, fun, relaxed on the other. And we all want our students to like us, right? So these teachers typically want to be more on the nice, fun, and relaxed side, so they avoid having rules and expectations, or they have them but don't follow through on them, assuming that if they enforce the rules, they will be the bad guy and their students won't like them. Let me tell you a story. I went to a junior high school in America, not a middle school, meaning I had 3 years there, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. While there, I had more or less the same group of classmates for advanced math class all 3 years. We were quite the handful of nerds, which, if you aren't a native speaker, means smart but without very good social skills. Classroom management with us was not an easy task. Sure, we would generally sit still and wouldn't fight or anything, but we had attitudes and were downright rude at times, as junior high school kids can be. In 7th grade, we had Mr. Monahan. He was nice at times, but he didn't really have any rules or expectations, at least ones that I can remember. He also had the unfortunate trait of taking things personally, which wasn't a great combination with our collection of rude kids. We always pushed the boundaries, mostly because there weren't really clear boundaries set. He would get frustrated, which only added fuel to the fire. I think it is safe to say that by the end of the year, he had had enough of us, and vice versa. 8th grade brought us Miss Grayeski, which for obvious reasons we called Mrs. G. I'll have to check the spelling of her name on Facebook when I make the transcript for this episode. She had rules and expectations. She pushed and challenged us. She didn't put up with our misbehavior. At the same time, she was kind and caring and didn't get upset or frustrated when we misbehaved. We all knew that she cared about us, so that when rules were broken and punishments had to be given, we understood and weren't upset at her. It was fair. We knew the boundaries and what would happen if we overstepped them. Mrs. G was probably the ideal teacher for our class. All good things must end though, and 9th grade brought us Mrs. Shim. Strict, unkind, and took everything personally. A tough combination with our group. The entire year was a battle between her and us. I don't remember a lot of good learning going on then, just us coming up with more and more ways to drive her crazy. So what's my point, besides trying to get you to envision a junior high school aged Adam? Spoiler alert, it wasn't a pretty sight. While Mrs. Shim might have fit that archetype I talked about at the beginning of the episode about the type of teacher people want to avoid becoming, there are many options to think about. There isn't simply one spectrum where you have to either be strict and unkind or nice and relaxed. You have options. You can choose where to be on multiple spectra. So let's talk about a few of them. We can start with an easy one. You can be kind and caring, or you can be unkind and uncaring. I would hope that you all would want to be the former, but we can also go a bit deeper than just being nice and polite to your students. Do you really care about your students beyond just the 40 minutes of GrapeSEED time? Do you care about them not just academically, but emotionally as well? Are you making teaching decisions based on their affective filters and trying to keep them low? Is what drives you real, actual student success, or is it just the paycheck and a visa? These things are truly caring about your students, not just saying good job when they answer a question correctly.
Goodbye, my friends, goodbye. I'm sad to say goodbye. It was a good day, But now I will say goodbye, my friends, goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.